What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon, NFL DFS video. This is the Thursday Night Football Showdown Breakdown. We're looking at the Denver Broncos at the Kansas City Chiefs. We've got a pretty good game going. I'm kind of excited, so I don't want to get too excited because usually Thursday Night Football is the duds where we expect it to be a good game and then it's a kicker's game. So we're going to look at it. We're going to dig in. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game than we're used to in prime time in a little bit. And we'll just kind of go over that. We'll look at that. We'll look at all the players. We'll look at the ones that make sense for the captain spot. We'll look at ones that make sense for the flex spot as well. So that being said, pretty exciting news. If anyone here watching the video right now has been on the fence about FTA Plus, you've been thinking, should I or should I not? Well, I've got something for you. We have 10 coupon codes available on the website right now. If you go to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, hit the FTA Plus button, sign up for the year pass, normally $199. If you use the promo code Thursday on the yearly package, instead of $199, you're going to get it for $75. The 10 people, that's it. We've got 10 coupons, and that is it. So FTA Plus, hit the yearly package, use the promo code Thursday. First come, first serve, first 10 people. So that being said, we are going to look at everything. We're going to look at the plays that make sense. We're going to look at the plays that maybe are a dart throw. You guys have been loving these Monday night, these Thursday Night Football breakdowns. We had a fantastic Monday Night Football breakdown, and a lot of people have been going into the Discord. A lot of people have emailed me, tweeted at us, or X, or what, I don't know what you call it anymore. I don't think it's a tweet, right? I don't know what it is. But that they've been placing, they've won money, they've shown us screenshots, which if you give me permission, I want to put them in our Discord channel, which you can find down below. I want to put them in our Discord channel for the winning lineups. And if I need to, I'll edit out the usernames if you want, stuff like that. So that being said, let's just take a look real quick. So we're going to look at the Vegas odds. So these are up to the minute Vegas odds about 10 minutes ago when making this video. So as you can see right here, Chiefs at Broncos, Thursday Night Football. We've got it opened at 51. It is now moved down to 47. Chiefs opened up as a 10-point favorite. It is now 10.5-point favorite for whatever reason. So hopefully, if we do get the plays and Kansas City goes up as big as they are expected to go up, hopefully we hit those plays early, and then it's going to come down to like the second, the backups and stuff like that. Or it bucks the trend, it doesn't follow that, and it's a close game throughout. And there's a good chance that could happen as well. So we're going to cover everything. So that being said, this is our matchup tool right here. We're going to look at both of them right now, and then we're going to jump into DraftKings, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the everything else there. So that being said, you got Russell Wilson, who's actually been playing better than Patrick Mahomes. And that might come as a shock because we've seen that they've got blown out. But, if they're behind, Russell Wilson is throwing it. He's running it. He's getting what he needs. It just depends on if you can parlay that into the correct players here. Speaking of a parlay, I have a Thursday Night Football parlay that I'm currently cooking up. If you guys want to see it for absolutely free, all you got to do is like the video. If this video gets 50 likes before kickoff, I will throw that parlay and I will pin it down below. So leave a comment that you want to see the parlay, and let's get going. Let's get 50 comments, or 50 likes. I think we can do it easily. That being said, Russell Wilson makes a fantastic option here. I love him as a captain spot. I love him as a flex option as well. His pricing is a little bit different. You got Javonte Williams that makes sense, Samaje Perine. So Javonte, was he going to be in? Was he going to be out? He does not have an injury designation going into this game, which is perfect for us. That's what we need. We don't want one of those. Problem is, he's only averaging 34.5 yards per game. We look at his game logs. He has not done much. He did get hurt, did not play in week 5, got hurt early on in week 4, and he was one of our core plays all over the website, all over our cheat sheets in week 4. He had a fantastic matchup, and then he got hurt and did nothing with it. He is involved in the passing game. He is good to go, it appears. Don't know. I'm okay with him being in a captain spot a little bit. The problem is I'm a little bit weary on this one, just because if they do get down behind, 10 or whatever they expect it to be, will they just abandon the run? I know he catches a little bit. I don't know if he'll be a good option for a captain. I'll have some exposure to him. So, P. Ryan's another one who's going to be, if you look, you got P. Ryan at 7,500 for captain. He would not be a captain spot. He has helped out a little bit going in. Doesn't have a touchdown, though. That's the problem. I probably would not be using him. Looking into here, Jerry Jeudy makes sense. Cortland Sutton makes sense. Marvin Mims as a kind of dartboard throw. I'm okay with Marvin Mims. Then we get down to the tight ends. It's Dulcich, who last week did not play. So just kind of look at Dulcich here. He's on the injured reserve. Yeah, so they have, so the way the NFL works, they can designate to return. They have 21 days. They have not. He hasn't played since week 1. He was out to 4 weeks. He practiced this week, but now we don't know. Maybe by the time you watch this video, maybe he has been activated. He has to be activated by 4 p.m. Eastern today. So depending on when you watch this video, he might have been activated. If he is activated, I'm okay with him for sure at 3,200 as a flex option. Again, that's a big what if. I don't know if he's going to be activated, so we kind of look at that. Troutman is a big one. He has really stepped up to be the tight end while Dulcich is out. So we kind of look at this. 5 targets last week, 5 in week 1. In between, he didn't really get targeted. But last week, 26 yards and a touchdown. So he did get the touchdown there. We could be looking at that. He would be a cheap option at 2,800. He would not be a captain option either. I wouldn't use Adkins. Manhurts for a dart throw, maybe, but I'm not really looking at Manhurts either. So in summary of the Denver plays that would make sense. Russell Wilson, I love him for flex, and I love him for captain or MVP if you're playing on FanDuel. Javonte Williams, I'm okay with both as well. It just depends. It depends on how the game script's going to go. If you're one that makes like 20 plus lineups for a showdown, yes, get Javonte in there as a captain spot. P. Ryan, probably not. McLaughlin, probably not. Then we get to the wide receivers. I would feel comfortable with Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. I don't think I'd feel comfortable with them much in the captain spot. Flex options are good there. Marvin Mims would be just a complete flex option there. And then Dulcich or Troutman, really depends if Dulcich gets in and gets actually activated. I'm okay with him because of his price. So then we get to Kansas City. Which players are going to factor into what we're looking at? So Mahomes, obviously, is number 1. We look at Mahomes. We know what to expect there. Generally, if you look at I put an article out, I think week 1, a showdown breakdown of, there was a study of 250 lineups, or millionaire maker lineups for showdown, and the quarterback was not in it very much. Let me see if I can find that article real quick. Hold on a second. Okay, so I did find it. If you're looking at captains, this is on DraftKings, but captain percentages after 250 multi-million-dollar lineups throughout last season. Wide receiver, 39% of the time, they were in that nuts lineup. Running backs was 28%, quarterback was 19%, tight end was 7%, defense was 4%, and kickers were 2%. So, again, if you're only making 20 or less lineups, probably take out the defense, the tight end, and kicker from the captain spot, if you're making like a player pool. But if you look at this, the average DraftKings points by each position when they are the captain, wide receivers, they're averaging about 42.1 points. Running backs was 41.9. Quarterback was 42.9. Tight end was 41.2. Defense was 30.8. Those are pick sixes. Those are sacks. Those are fumble recoveries. And then kicker was 24. I fully expect this not to be a kicker game. I don't think this is going to be a defense game either. I'm looking, and with Mahomes, though, he makes sense. Overall, though, you don't know if you're going to get that kicker. You don't know if you're going to get that quarterback in this situation. There's just other options that we can look at. So that's just kind of the thought process there, but Mahomes makes sense for both captain and flex spot. Pacheco makes the most sense. He's the number one running back in this lineup. This is the thing I'll tell you. Normally when a running back is in this good of a spot, it goes to like a Jerick McKinnon or Edwards-Helaire. Now, hopefully that doesn't, but those can happen as well, and we'll look at all of those. Rashee Rice looks like he's wide receiver 1 right now. He's over Kadarius Toney. I would look at Rice, Toney, Moore. You want to get real down in the depths, and you want to make, let's say you make 100 lineups. Get some Justin Watson in there, get some MVS in there, because anything can happen, but the top 3 would be Rice, Toney, and Moore. And then Travis Kelce, is he healthy? Is he not? Rolled his ankle, was a lower ankle sprain, then got wrapped up, wouldn't come on the field, then they let him on the field, and then he got a touchdown. He did practice. He said he felt like an old grandpa. He's going to play. He's not going to be 100%. This just feels like one of those where everyone's going to be away from Kelce in a captain spot because he isn't 100% healthy. This could be a game where he goes off for 3 touchdowns. And if he goes off for 3 touchdowns, he is definitely your nuts captain spot for the day. So let's take a look at every single play in this game that makes sense from both a captain spot and a flex spot. So I do have captain. I have like a player pool that I have for my captains. Now, some of them are off of our cheat sheet, which you can find on the website, part of FTA+. But Mahomes makes sense for a captain. I really love Mahomes there. Russell Wilson makes sense for a captain. Travis Kelce makes sense for a captain. As you can see, Mahomes going up at the 30th. Defense. Broncos defense is terrible. He could be in store for a good game. If you kind of just look his game logs, you know what you're going to get out of him. They've been up big and then into some close games where he still put up points. First 3 were over 20. Couple of down games here. Fully expect a 20-plus game out of here. Let's not going to say they're going to put up 70 like Tua. They could. That's how good this team is. So I'm looking at him. Kelce makes sense. 27th against the tight end. Denver's really bad there. Really like that. Russell Wilson, if the game script goes as, supposed to, we could be seeing Russell Wilson playing from behind. He's going to throw the ball. He's going to run the ball. We look at Russell Wilson, game log-wise, 196 yards against the Jets. They are a good defense, but it had a passer rating 103. Against Chicago, 223 yards, 3 touchdowns there, 22, 18, 30, and 15. So if you look at this, like I said at the beginning, got a better passer rating than Mahomes. He's got 11 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, where Mahomes, I believe, has 10. 10 to 4, 96 rating, 1287. So he's got about 50 more yards, but he's averaging 0.1 more than Mahomes. So if he's playing from behind, he could be throwing the ball up a ton, which I absolutely love in this one. Pacheco, he's got the best matchup for running backs this week. Game log kind of down here, but had 115 yards against the Jets. They were a really good team defense-wise. 27.8 there. This just feels like a double-digit or a 2+ touchdown outing out of Pacheco here. It could be all hands on deck with Pacheco there. That makes sense. Again, if you don't feel confident with putting a quarterback as your captain, I like Pacheco, or I like Judy and Sutton as well. Maybe a little bit of... I'm probably taking Javonte Williams out of my captain spot. He makes sense for a flex spot, though. But, just look. Like, Mahomes is $19,200. I don't know if there's ever been a quarterback that has been that expensive for a captain spot, and I don't think you can afford... so let's say you put Mahomes, you want Kelce, and you want Pacheco. That's $3,400 to go with flex. And there's not a ton that makes sense there unless you, even going a kicker is over what the average lineup would be. So you'd have to have 2 of those spots where if Dolchich is in, maybe I throw Dolchich in there. You really can't even do that. Yeah, it just... I don't think you're going to be able to afford Mahomes unless these terrible people come in and somehow score. Like, say, Manhurts comes in somehow. He's played all 5 weeks. He's only had 2 targets on the year with 1 reception for 10 yards. So he hasn't done anything. Maybe he goes off somehow at 200. Maybe. And then you can average 7,000 there. So then you could put in a Rashee Rice or something like that. This is not the way to go. I don't think this is going to happen at all. I just, that is very expensive for a captain spot. You got Mahomes at 16.5, who he opens up a little bit. You go him. It's going to be hard to build a good lineup here where if you want to go Russ and you want to go Mahomes, then you're back at 3,700. Who are you going to throw to? Kadarius Toney. You got to find that, Dulcich if he's in, or Watson. Maybe Watson comes in. That's 4,900. Then you can go kicker with Buck or something like that. It's going to get, I think you're going to see some wild lineups tonight. They're just the pricing, the matchup, the defense, everything feels like it's going against us in this situation. So it depends. It's going to be very hard to find you those captains that make sense. Obviously, you save a ton of money if it's Wilson. You're able to put him with, let's say, Sutton. You're able to put Kelsey in there, maybe Mahomes. And that's 2,000. That's still, you got to find those turds. You got to find those real low. Maybe Edwards-Helaire comes in and scores 2 touchdowns. It could happen. And then you got Troutman or something like that. You're going to have to get creative with this tonight. The pricing is just kind of not the best. If you're one that plays like lots of money showdown-wise on Thursday nights, I might scale that back a little bit and do some sports betting instead. So flex options, another flex option would be McLaughlin. You look at that, double back-to-back good outings there. Obviously, week 5, we did not have Javonte. Week 4 is when he went out. So we can kind of see. But he is a little bit into the receiving game as well. That kind of makes sense. A Sky Moore makes sense. Flex, Rashee Rice makes sense. Obviously, we're not looking at Gabbert. We're not looking at Stidham. We're not looking at any of the other quarterbacks. Defense-wise, Chiefs, I'm okay with that. But again, Russell Wilson's only thrown 2 picks this year. He's got a good rating in fantasy points per game. I'm probably not looking much into the defenses. Kickers make sense. Always looking at the kickers. I think the lowest I would probably go, if you go down here and you're like, I need to find some value, I like Kadarius Toney, Dulcich, like I said, Troutman at 2,800. You could maybe go Ross. Again, 4 targets last week against Minnesota, 28 yards, 4.8. I don't expect to win, but he's 600. He allows you to, let's say you go Wilson, Mahomes, Kelsey, Pacheco, that's 1,800. Edwards-Helaire, maybe. I don't know, something like that. Ross makes sense for a low-owned. Manhurts, maybe, just because some crazier things have happened, and he is 200. So if you do, if you do like Manhurts, where'd he go? Manhurts here. Say you get nuts and you go Ross. That's, you could do that. You could go Mahomes, Kelsey, Wilson, and you can still go anyone there. So if you do get those, now I'm not saying you're going to. I'm not going to say that makes sense. The pricing is kind of iffy today on a Thursday night for a good matchup here. I think both quarterbacks are in a smash spot. I think it's going to come down to, can you find those value picks that go off? Now, I will be playing lighter than normal on this slate, but I also will have sports betting as well. So the sports bets will be out for anyone who signs up for the month pass, or even if you use the promo code Thursday through the first 10 people that get in, you get the year pass, which includes right now NFL. You'll have the entire NBA season. You'll have the MMA we've got going on. We've got PGA that started today. We've got NASCAR on the weekends, obviously, for about another month, and then it's off till February. You'll have everything for a year. So the rest of this NFL season, the playoffs, and the first, about 6 weeks of next season as well. So a lot of things going on, FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. If you have not already checked it out, check it out. If you have not liked this video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We are trying to build a better brand, and you're all encompassing one-stop DFS shop for you here. Let's get some money, let's get some bacon, and be on the lookout for the entire complete week 6 main slate breakdown coming to you. Might even be out now by the time you watch this video. So good luck on this Thursday night football showdown. Let's bring home some bacon. Peace.